Adams, a community organizer with Neighborhoods Organizing for Change, and thank you for being here.
No problem.
Thanks for sitting down with me. I just have to say I'm very impressed because I've never organized anything in my life. I disorganize things. My presence alone, yeah. So thank you for doing the organizing work.
Yeah, you and me both. You should see my office.
So to be an organizer, you don't have to have an organized office?
To be an organizer, like most of us are completely unorganized. I mean, we organize for work, and then when we go home, we're just like, throw this here, throw that. Yeah.
I see. See, leave work at work, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Wash your shoes in the sink, you know.
We need toilets, pee in a Sprite can.
Yeah. We've all done it. We've all...
Long road trips.
Right. Like a road trip at home, right?
I never use my bathroom.
All right, let's get right into it. So, can you tell us what is the mission of Neighborhoods Organizing for Change?
The mission of Neighborhoods Organizing for Change, we're a racial and economic justice organization. So we focus on bringing resources to under-resourced communities, especially communities of color. At NOC, I would like to say we have to say that we are unapologetically black. We are black from the top down. You know what I mean? And I think that's really important in doing this work because for so long there were basically white people doing jobs that black people should have been out here on the ground doing the work and getting paid for it. So our organization really focuses a lot on bringing people from those under-resourced communities and like not developing them, but building them up and making sure that they are part of this political process. They are part of everything from elections to holding police officers accountable to improving education. So those are the main areas we focus on, specifically voting rights. Like in the state of Minnesota, there's 40,000 people who are felons who can't vote or don't know they can't vote. So that's one big thing we've been focused on, going back and forth to the Capitol, nudging Governor Dayton to let people vote. Another thing we focus on is police accountability, which you've seen in the news a lot these last couple weeks. Yeah.
So how has NOC been involved? And I imagine you're referring to the Justice for Jamar protest at the precinct. Well, how has NOC been involved in that process?
We've done actually a few things. Once I got to shout out the queer women-led movement of Black Lives Matter Minneapolis. Once they took the precinct and refused to leave without the tapes from the incident being released, we everybody in my office activated. We were like, this is what we have to do. There's no step back. We put everything on the back burner, and we actually sent a few of our staff members down there to help out with crowd control, bringing donations in and setting up. Another thing we did, we opened up the NOC office for a safe space, a healing space where people could come, where we had barbers come in, give community members free haircuts. Also, we had masseuses come in and give out free massages. Wow. So we just wanted to make sure that through everything that was going on, that people were healing and people were all right. Those are just a few of the things we did for healing. We also brought in people from all across the country. Reverend Sekou from Fellowship of Reconciliation, he came here to teach about civil disobedience. He did a civil disobedience training with a bunch of community members. And you gotta remember, these are people who really haven't been organized and been any part of the political process. So it was like awakening the fire in these people to make change in their communities and know that they are powerful too. Another person we brought in was Watanye Tiembre, who, cool fun fact, he was Tupac's manager.
What?
Yeah, so I didn't know
He came to Minnesota?
Yeah.
He came to Minnesota?
Yeah, and he led a security training.
Wait, did he tell you where Tupac is secretly living?
Yeah, man, Tupac had coffee 2 weeks ago.
What?
Yeah. But
you went all the way to Australia to have coffee with him? Oh,
no, it's not Australia. You really need a spaceship, brother.
Word.
But we'll talk after. Okay. But yeah, he came in, he did a security training to make sure that the 4th precinct and how it was occupied, that everybody remained safe. because I'm sure you heard that 5 white supremacists came and shot 5 community members. I would like to call those guys heroes, because those guys knew that those white supremacists were up to something. They didn't know what, but they used all their energy to push them back away from the crowd, where there were children, there were elderly folk, and anybody could have got hurt, anything could have happened. So those guys are like really heroes. They like literally took bullets to protect the community. So I like to shout those guys out because it was just amazing. And through them getting shot, we've actually we've been trying to make sure that they can reestablish their lives. So NOC has been reaching out to the victims of the shooting and making sure whatever they need, we can help you out with that. We just been trying to make sure that everybody gets a chance to heal from this situation, because in the Black community, there's a thing called trauma. Like we deal with like so much trauma from like being economically disenfranchised in the state of Minnesota, to like police killing us, to like not getting a job interview because of our skin. So like having the opportunity meant the world.
Yeah, and so especially after the white supremacist shooting, and the entire protest at the 4th Precinct, what was the response from elected officials in Minneapolis? And how did they respond to the demands from both Black Lives Matter and NOC, specifically around like police accountability?
This is a joke, right? Okay, no. Actually, well, I was very surprised by the mayor of Minneapolis, Betsy Hodges. She ran her campaign in 2013 on racial equity. And once the Justice for Jamar thing happened, she had the opportunity to really drive home what she was trying to do. Like, be with the community you said you were gonna serve and make sure that they were okay. And she never came to the precinct. She did come to the precinct one time, but it was like a show, Porcelain Pony show. She just came because like people were like saying you need to be here. But what was amazing, we had 2 city council members, 3. Lisa Bender showed up, Cam Gordon, and Lisa Palomasano. Now, Lisa Bender, she's an amazing woman. Like there was a police officer who had like a rubber bullet gun pointed through the window, and they were like macing all the protesters. And Lisa Bender runs through the crowd, pushes people back. I'm a city council member. Shoot me. Like this is my community. Shoot me. And it was just, I've never seen a public official like put themselves on the line in that type of way.
Yeah,
physically put themselves on the line.
That's a badass Bender. I mean,
yeah,
really impressive.
Yeah. Dude, I gotta call that now.
Hashtag badass Bender. That's your re-election campaign. You're welcome, Lisa. You're welcome.
But it was completely amazing to see that those city council members actually came out there and stood with the people who they were elected to serve. Because it wasn't just like North Minneapolis community members out there. There were people. There was a guy from London. He was like, I came from London to see this. You know what I mean? So it was just the amount of support that the people at the 4th Precinct received was amazing. But in terms of elected officials, I really think they dropped the ball. For surely, Blonde Yang, who is a city councilman for Ward 4, where the shooting happened, he was basically unreachable. He was unresponsive. It almost seemed like he was cool with what was going on. And this is his community. These are his community members out there in agony. Like, we need help. We need something to change. And the guy just sat in his office, didn't release a statement, didn't do anything. And this is his ward. This is his community. The 4th Precinct resides where he's supposed to be the boss. You know what I mean? So for him to let that happen, it just speaks to the disconnect from public officials and the community. And I myself, I really think that we must make a connection back from City Hall to on the grounds, so on Broadway and Emerson, on the grounds, and on James and Plymouth. They need to be on the ground when things like this happen, and not somewhere in their suite, not somewhere watching Netflix. You know what I mean? There was also an opportunity. Betsy Hodges had a chance to speak to a group of protesters. They came to her house, and her husband, this guy's crazy. He let people in. He let like 25 people in his house, and like I'm sure Betsy was like upstairs like knitting or something. I don't know what she was doing, but like she had time and time again to address these issues and sit down at the table with us, and that didn't happen. But you know, that's probably why she won't be our mayor in a couple of years.
So, what would you say for the average viewer who is wondering when Prairie Home Companion will come back on and how they got to this point in the internet? So, for an average viewer of this show, or for our audience, our studio audience, what can they do to support police accountability measures and generally the mission of NOC to make a more equitable Twin Cities and more accountable police force?
I would think first and foremost, know your rights. Know what police can and can't do to you, and like make sure that they know that you know your rights. When you're pulled over by the police, when you're stopped on the street, make sure that they know. Record everything you can, because what you don't record will be something that will be needed in court the next week. Second of all, NOC has started a petition asking for no grand jury for Mark Ringenberg and allow direct prosecution, just like anybody else in this room. If we killed somebody, we would be sitting in a courtroom judged by a jury of our peers. And I think that is very important for like the whole of the police accountable, to make sure that the grand jury doesn't get a chance to touch this case, because as we know, 97% of the time the grand jury returns a non-guilty verdict for police. So signing that petition, which is on MNNOC.org, that's one thing you can do. Also, call Kurt Doubt, the state speaker, the Speaker of the House, and ask him to call a special session for the north side of Minneapolis, and specifically the racial disparities here in Minnesota. Within that, we're going to hopefully push a community policing plan and hopefully get funding for that, so the community members of the north side of Minneapolis will be able to hopefully police themselves and remove that threat from our community.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Rod Adams, everyone.
Rod Adams.
Rod Adams, everyone. Thank you so much.
Please support making policemen get insurance. Please sign that petition also. That is very important. I want to make sure these guys get uninsured and get out of there. Thank you.
Rod Adams, once again. Thank you.